God is spirit. What does it mean to worship God? Worshipping God is serving God. There is one matter that needs to be brought to light in this respect, and that is the fact that God is spirit. In John chapter 4, verse 24, it says, God is spirit, and those who worship him must worship in spirit and truth. The important point here is that man lives in a physical body, but God is spirit. So how can man, who is in the flesh, properly serve God, who is spirit? There are many problems that lie within the flesh. In Romans chapter 7, verse 24, the Apostle Paul referred to the flesh as the body of this death. The flesh carries death with it and abides in death. This is why the Apostle Paul also wrote, "For to be carnally minded is death." Romans chapter 8, verse 6. How can this flesh that abides in death worship God, who is spirit? God is spirit, which means that he does not exist in the flesh, and neither does he have any other kind of physical form. Since God is not a physical being, he is not concerned with external appearances. Man, however, exists in the flesh and tries to serve God on the basis of the inclinations that flow from his flesh. As a result, man quite naturally devises his own elaborate religious rites and ceremonies, believing that such are required in the worship of God. Thus, the world has witnessed the emergence of various religions that have no connection with God, who is spirit. It is when people attempt to worship the invisible God in some kind of visible form that idolatry begins. In various places in the Bible, we come across phrases such as, I, the Lord, search the heart, and I judge no man, according to the flesh, and others that tell us that God shows no partiality in terms of external appearances. These words hold a very deep significance. If you read Deuteronomy chapter 4 very carefully, you will see that God is the same God who saved Israel out of Egypt, and the same God who spoke on Mount Horeb. Since God is invisible, he told us not to make any kind of graven image. Herein lies the root of the second commandment. When we worship the invisible God, the God who is spirit, we are not to make any kind of graven image or devise any form of rituals, rites, or structured systems. So the question still arises as to how man who is in the flesh can worship God who is spirit. Since God is spirit, he can only be served in spirit. There is no other way.